Hello and welcome to Affinity. This is the second of a short series on creating sunbursts, and in the last image we created this sunburst and we're using as a template this image here. If I zoom in a bit more to that, you can see there's actually several different types here of bokeh, which we're going to be, this or lens effects, which we're going to create here. And there's four different types we're going to use. But there's these ellipticals here, including with some overlap. There's this curved here with this kind of like a rainbow going across it. There's actually an extra line down here which has got like a little bit of rainbow in it already, and this piece across here which is also a little bit rainbowish. First thing perhaps to notice is if I compare this with this is just a little bit too soft here. This is quite easy to fix, so I just go back into the group before of sunbursts, go down here to the double star, which was the primary one here, go into the FX on that, and the Gaussian blur I'd put on that. I can just turn this down a bit so it looks a bit more like the previous one. There, that'll do. And this is the great joy of doing things non-destructively with adjustments like this, is you can always go back and tweak things even later. So let's start off trying to do that sunburst effect. So let's start off here. We can do these lens effects here. So I'm going to start off with this. To have a look at this, I'm just going to go here to the pipette, drag the pipette down on top of this, and have a look at the red, green and blue. What I find here, there's no red in it. There's a medium sort of green and blue slightly less than the green. So I can recreate it from that. I could also have taken a selection from it and so on. Anyway, so over here, notice here I've got that selection now appearing here, but we can play with that. So now I'm going to go down to the rectangle tool there, right click, go to an ellipse. I just do a fairly large one. At the moment I don't need a stroke in this. I'll go to the stroke color and put and for the fill color I can use that colour which came through the pipette there. Let's look at what it is, and it's the red 0, green up here. Maybe I can make this, I want to make this dark, sorry, lighter. I move it up a bit. I think I will here. I'll just sort of drag those up a little bit there. Now using the move tool, I'm just going to bring this down here, make it a little bit blurred. So, and I've got in the wrong position here. I actually want to put it above the sunburst. I don't want to put it in the middle of it. So I can close that group up, and here we have it. So now I will go to the FX, do that kind of blur, Gaussian blur, and turn the radius up a bit to make this a bit softer. We'll change the size of it in a minute. I'm also going to make it transparent. So I'll turn the opacity down on this so it's just a bit more transparent. I want to put it over this here, so over a little bit of harder background, and kind of in line with the sunburst lines coming out here. So I'll just rotate that around there so this points up towards the middle of the sun there, and then I can reduce the size of it down to something which will fit into here. Let's zoom in a bit more, and if I got it this size, actually it's looking like the outline is a little bit too soft now. I need to change that, so I can click on the FX there and just bring this down so I've got a bit more of a shape that I can more distinctive. There we go. And I can copy this and hit Control J, but another way to do it is hold on the Control key and just drag, and you get yourself another copy. And that just let that overlap a bit there, and there we go, we've got that effect from those two ellipses. Just knock them out like that. Click on the hand tool so you can see them both operating. They've got this overlap where they're appearing a bit together. And if you want to strengthen that little bit there, maybe you can play a little bit with the opacity to change one of them so you can see there's two, but don't do it very, very gently. Right, what the next thing we want to do, Control 0 to go back out again, is create something of a rainbow. What we're going to do here is going to go first of all to the rectangle tool. Just draw a rectangle across here. We don't mind what it is because we're going to change the fill colour here from a fill to a gradient. And what we want in this gradient across here is to go from the colours of the rainbow. So I'll put red at this end, click on that and go to red here. At the other end I want purple, which kind of is a dark magenta colour, like that. And that will do. And now we want to bring that down a little bit darker. And then put the others in between. So red, orange, yellow, green and blue. And then just move these so they are about the same distance apart. You can use the position here to make it accurate, but it's only approximate is sufficient mostly. So this one we want to be orange. So that's going to be the green in the middle and red up, blue down. Yellow is the next one. Make sure that's click. There we go. Make sure that little circle is bigger and make that yellow. And red, orange, yellow, green is the next one. So green up and the others down. And blue. And make that blue there. So that's blue all the way up and the others down. So now we've got ourselves a rainbow. So I want to draw the line on this. I'm going to use this as a, we'll just use the tool there, and then another way of copying is Control C, Control V to just duplicate like that. And then I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to make this thinner here because I'm going to make that sort of a line which goes out here, which is just a little bit longer. So I'm going to bring this right down here. I want to make this more pointed at the end here, so a simple way to do that is to go to Convert to Curves. And then I go here, I'm on the Node tool now, drag the center and pull that out. There, that's good enough there. I can use one of these converts if necessary. And the same this side. Bring that out. And now just come back here. I want to make this a little bit thinner altogether, so go back to the Move tool and make this pretty thin. And then go to the FX and Gaussian blur and also click the checkbox and increase the blur on that, so it's just kind of you can still see the rainbow effect on that. And Control 0 to go back out again. See how this is going to fit over here. I can rotate it so it runs in line with that and bring that so kind of like down here. So I've got the kind of extended line. I'm going to move these to go over the top of it. Click this one here. Shift click for that one there. Can I hit Control G just to group those so they're a single one, and I'll call that one. Oh, kind of that. Call that lens 1. Then this one here, we got here, I'm going to call that one lens 2. And now this one here, get the lens 1 to select it, and I'm going to rotate that a bit more, put that over here, and I'm going to put that above that one there so it's not interrupted so much. This one, lens 2, I'm going to reduce the opacity of that because it's a little bit strong at the moment. It's a bit tricky when you've got this here. So let's go to the hand tool there so I can see more what's going on, just to fade that down a little bit. There we go. Now then what I'm going to do is to put this rainbow here and just take the whole thing and bring this down here and just bring it along there, and I'm going to rotate it a bit so it just kind of fits into the parallel of the top there. And then I'm going to use the skew tool, so I go over one of the middle ones here and go down until I got the left right, then I can drag that so it fits there. Then I'll just reshape it up to fit into here, put a little bit of blur on it. So I'm going to put a Gaussian blur there and blur that up a bit. And take the opacity right down. So it's just like a hint of an effect. in here. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's better. Just got that little effect there. Could even take it down a little bit more. I'll call that one lens 3. And the last one is kind of the trickiest one, which are those curved things. And for this, I'm going to go right click on the rectangle there and go to the donut. I want to draw myself a donut here, but I want to start with the center of this shape here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just go to the move tool first and click on this one here, which is the Sunburst. So I want to get the effect. In fact, I'll go within that, go down to the bottom double star so you can see here where the center is. So the center is just off the line, and we've moved it off center so that these lines here didn't sort of like create a funny edge effect. So on my donut here, to start in the middle of this, and I hold down Control and Shift, so when it increases it goes out naturally like this. So I got myself a circle there, but now I want to start doing something with it. So these little red lines effect. First of all, I can draw one of these out here to make a kind of narrow effect there. And this one here, the moment I use this, it's going to look quite different. So now I'm drawing. So I'm going to draw the effect around here that I want to have, and also going to bring the other one around here so it goes across. I wanted to move this further in, so for this I hit Control Shift, drag the corner to bring that in a bit more there. Right, and now then I want to get the gradient across it, so this is a bit tricky here. So I'm down the Control key and rolling in for this. For this I need to use the gradient tool here. And for this I need, see, this has started off with the gradient which I already did before, which was the other one, but this one here now, I want this to be at the center of the sun, which is going to be about here. And then this one drags the angle, so see one end, each end has a different effect. And that's going to draw the line down there. In fact, let's go up a little bit on this. It goes down that beam there. But now to get the gradient across here, I need to move these within it. So they've all got to be bunched up here. So I'm bunching them up as I go along. If it's snapping, watch out for the snapping tool up there. In fact, and I want another red one on the end, so I'll click near there and bring that down for the red. And click at this one here to bring up a little bit one for the gradient there. And then I want to bring these in here to get the curved effect. But this is looking a bit funny here because these are straight lines. So I want to change this. Not so much a linear one here, I want a radial one. And there we go. So it's nice and curved now. And there's the gradient in here. Bring up those effects to make it a nice kind of one here, so I can just play around those to however I like it. Then I want to blur this, so I want to go to the move tool here, just make sure I just selected this and the donut, and I've got the donut down here out the way, so I need to bring that back up here to where I want it, underneath the there. Call that one lens 4. Very original my names here, aren't I? And FX and Gaussian blur, and turn up the radius bit, so getting that effect, and then turn down the opacity, so it's kind of blurred. I could also make the ends pointy if I wanted to, like I did with the line down here. So let's take that off there. So I've got these effects here. Let's take the opacity down even further on that. I could go in, drag those gradient points about, again always clicking on the gradient tool for that. So I've got these 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of lighting or bokeh effects. That's it, and thank you very much for watching.